Hello, Pinewood distance learners. This is Mrs. Borgany, and it's taken me a while to get these results out from our election on November 3rd. I apologize for that. But if you remember, you were asked to vote for a book you'd like me to read to you. You had a choice of Math Curse or Paul Bunyan. And the winner is Math Curse. So I am going to read this book to you. I will let you know this is the first time I've used a doc cam and read out loud. So you are kind of my guinea pigs. I hope everything goes well, and you can feel free to give me some feedback. So we are going to read from Math Curse. It's by John Ciescott and Lane Smith. So this was a book that I used when I taught fourth grade quite a while ago. That's where you can see I put my stamp, and there's a lot of math information on this page. So the title page, Math Curse, again by John Ciescott and Lane Smith. On their dedication page, they wrote, if the sum of my nieces and nephews equal 15, and their product equals 54, and I have more nephews than nieces, how many nephews and how many nieces in this book is this book dedicated to? That was by J.S. And the bottom one is, if I divide the number of years my dad was an accountant, 30, by the number of years I needed help with my math, 30, I get one dedication for Dad, the CPA. Here we go. On Monday in math class, Mrs. Fibonacci says, you know, you can think of almost everything as a math problem. On Tuesday, I start having problems. I wake up at 7:15. It takes me 10 minutes to get dressed, 15 minutes to eat my breakfast, and 1 minute to brush my teeth. Suddenly, it's a problem. If my bus leaves at 8 o'clock, will I make it on time? 2. How many minutes in an hour? 3. How many teeth in one mouth? I look into my closet and the problem gets worse. I have 1 white shirt, 3 blue shirts, 3 striped shirts, and that 1 ugly plaid shirt my Uncle Zeno sent me. First question, how many shirts is that altogether? 2, how many shirts would I have if I threw away that awful plaid shirt? And 3, when will Uncle Zeno quit sending me such ugly shirts? I'm getting a little worried. Everything seems to be a problem. I take the milk out for my cereal and wonder, how many quarts in a gallon? How many pints in a quart? How many inches in a foot? How many feet in a yard? How many yards in a neighborhood? How many inches in a pint? How many feet in my shoes? I don't even bother to take out the cereal. I don't want to know how many flakes in a bowl. Mrs. Fibonacci says, let's try again. Mrs. Fibonacci has obviously put a math curse on me. Everything I look at or think about has become a math problem. I try to get on the bus without thinking about anything, but there are 5 kids already on the bus. 5 kids get on at my stop. 5 more get on at the next stop, and 5 more get on at the last stop. True or false? What is the bus driver's name? That doesn't make much sense, does it, boys and girls? All right, let's try and look at this chart. Mrs. Fibonacci has this chart of what month everyone's birthday is in. Let's see. First question, which month has the most birthdays? Which month has the fewest? Why doesn't February have a W? Don't you think this chart looks sort of like a row of buildings? Do you ever look at clouds and think they look like something else? What does this ink blot look like to you? Sounds like he's having a little trouble staying focused. The whole morning is one problem after another. There are 24 kids in my class. I just know someone is going to bring in cupcakes to share. We sit in 4 rows with 6 desks in each row. What if Mrs. Fibonacci rearranges the desks to make 6 rows, or 8 rows, 3 rows, or 2 rows? I can count the 24 kids in our class again, this time by 2s. Jake scratches his paper with one finger. How many fingers are in our class? Casey pulls Eric's ear. How many ears are in our class? This new girl, Kelly, sticks her tongue out at me. How many tongues in our class? I'm about to really lose it when the lunch bell rings. Unfortunately for me, lunch is pizza and apple pie. Each pizza is cut into 8 equal slices. Each pie is cut into 6 equal slices. You know what that means. Fractions. If I want 2 slices of pizza, should I ask for A, 1/8, 2, 2/8, or C, 2 slices of pizza? What is another way to say 1/2 of an apple pie? 2/6, 3/6, or la mote de una tarte axun parames? I just made that up. Number 3, which tastes greater, a half a pizza or a half an apple pie? We haven't studied fractions yet, so I take 12 carrot sticks 3 at a time and eat them 2 at a time. In the afternoon, every subject is a problem. Social studies is a geography problem. The Mississippi River is about 4,000 kilometers long, and M&M is about 1 centimeter long. There are 100 centimeters in a meter and 1,000 meters in a kilometer. Number 1, estimate how many M&Ms it would take to measure the length of the Mississippi River. Lots of zeros in that one, I bet, boys and girls. And number 2, estimate how many M&Ms you would eat if you had to measure the Mississippi River with M&Ms. I can tell you Mrs. Borgeting would eat a lot. How about you? The bonus question is, can you spell Mississippi without any M&Ms? English, or we would call reading in elementary school, is a word problem. If mail plus box equals mailbox, number 1, does lipstick minus stick equal lip? And number 2, does tuna fish plus tuna fish equal forna fish? Hadn't thought about that. Phi-Ed is a sports problem. In 1919, Babe Ruth hit 29 home runs, batted .322, and made $40,000. In 1991, the average Major League Baseball player hit 15 home runs, batted .275, and made $840,000. Circle the correct answer. Babe Ruth is less than the average modern baseball player. Babe Ruth is greater than the average modern baseball player, or Babe Ruth equals the average modern baseball player. In art, we finally get to relax and connect the dot. Try it again. In art, we finally get to relax with the connect the dot picture. Here's my picture. Too bad it turns out to be a connect the ancient Mayan numerals picture. I still like it myself. In math, let's see what happens in math. It's just a total problem. Mrs. Fibonacci says there are many ways to count. She asks us to give some examples. Russell counts on his fingers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Molly says 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Mrs. Fibonacci says, I always count 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13. What did you think about that counting sequence, boys and girls? But on Tetra, kids have only 2 fingers on each hand. They count 1, 2, 3, 10. And on the binary planet or planet binary, kids only have 1 finger on each hand. They count 1, 10. Question number 1. What are the next 5 numbers in each sequence above? Number 2. Do you think Mrs. Fibonacci has been to the planet Tetra? And number 3. How would you bowl if you lived on planet binary? Could be tough if you only had 2 fingers. We are just about to go home when Rebecca remembers the special birthday cupcakes her mom made. There are 24 kids in the class. Rebecca has 24 cupcakes. So what is the problem? Rebecca wants Mrs. Fibonacci to have a cupcake too. Everyone is going crazy, trying to figure out what fraction of a cupcake each person will get. I'm the first to figure out the answer. I raise my hand and I tell Mrs. Fibonacci, I'm allergic to cupcakes. Everyone, 24, believes me and gets 1 cupcake. No one, 0, has to figure out fractions. I don't know. I kind of like fractions. They don't scare me as much as they scare this kiddo. I stagger out of school. I'm a math zombie now. I have to find something to break this math curse. I decide to try chocolate. My favorite candy bar is usually 50 cents. But guess what? Today it's on sale for 50% off. And look at that formula. Where A equals the number of letters in your first name, B equals your age, and C equals your shoe size, I decide to buy licorice instead. I pull out my money. I have a $5 bill and a $1 bill, a quarter and a penny. George Washington is on both the quarter and the $1 bill. Abraham Lincoln is on both the penny and the $5 bill. So which is true? A, 1 Washington equals 25 Lincolns. B, 5 Washingtons equal 1 Lincoln. C, 1 Washington equals 100 Lincolns. Or D, Lincoln equals 20 Washingtons. Don't forget to show your work. I find that kind of funny because when I was a teacher in 4th grade, I always told the kids, don't forget to show your work. And that's what we expect now too. For extra credit, how do you think Thomas Jefferson feels about all of this? He was a president too, and he's not on any of our money. That's on this page at least. I am now a raving math lunatic. What if this keeps up for a whole year? How many minutes of math madness would that be? What's your problem? Says my sister. 365 days times 24 hours times 60 minutes, I snarl. Dinner brings no relief. While passing the mashed potatoes, Mom says, what your father says is false. Dad helps himself to some potatoes and says, what your mother says is true. I think about that for a minute. If what mom says is true, then what dad says is false. But if what dad says is false, then what mom says isn't true. And if what mom says isn't true, then what dad says isn't false. But that can't be true because he says that what mom says is true, and she says that what he says is false. Can that be true? I think about that. Then I think about it some more. Then I think I'm going to go to bed. I kind of like this picture, so I'm going to show it to you again. I undo 8 buttons plus 2 shoelaces. I subtract 2 shoes. I multiply times 2 socks and divide by 3 pillows to get 4 sheep. Remainder 1, which is all I need to count before I fall asleep. Then the problem really begins. I dream I'm trapped in a room with no doors and no windows. The room is covered with a lifetime of problems. I have only one piece of chalk. How do I get out? I'm about to give up and die when the answer to my problem comes to me. Fractions. I break the chalk in half, then I put the 2 halves back together. 1/2 plus 1/2 equals 1 whole. I put the hole on the wall and jump out. I'm free. I wake up Wednesday morning at 7:15. It takes me 10 minutes to get dressed, 15 minutes to eat my breakfast, and 1 minute to brush my teeth. My bus leaves at 8 o'clock. What time will I be ready? 7:41. No problem. I have broken the math curse. I can solve any problem, and life is just great until science class when Mr. Newton says, you know, you can think of almost everything as a science experiment. The end. I hope you have enjoyed this book. And so if you ever take out this book and you want to answer those questions, they have the answers to the questions on the back of the book. The end.